Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello? Hello again? It's me again. Hello? Just gonna test this one more time just to make sure that we are okay, because apparently I can't do one of these without either being far too close to a microphone and breathing down it like a madman, or being just far too far away and sounding like I'm a million miles away. So let me just double check that everything's good. Cool, I think I might have found the sweet spot. Good to go. I'm not going to waste as much time today as I did yesterday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, who you are, how you're choosing to spend your day in your life. Welcome back to another one of these Minecraft streams. The goal, as always, is to construct this medieval village that I have been making a start on over the past couple of days. Looking a little bit rough, but do you know what's lovely is I feel like I'm finally starting to see the vision for this. Cool, that was just one final check on my situation. Yeah, I am recording, I am live, my microphone is on. I just have like the worst anxiety that one of these days I'm going to be doing this and I'm not going to have either recorded it or my microphone will sound like shit and it'll just be me breathing heavily down the microphone all the time. So if that ever does happen, I do apologise, but I don't want to run the risk of being too far away and being completely unable to be heard. That is less than ideal. That was my last check, I promise. Don't say I'm not committed to the bit. Don't say that I'm not committed to the grind of this whole thing. I'm highly committed. Don't say I'm not committed to the bit. Don't say that I'm not committed to the bit. Cool. That is enough of that. Yes, so as I was saying, here again to play some more Minecraft. Continue construction on this medieval village. And as per usual, that is the stated aim, but I do get the feeling at some point that I will be going completely off topic of that idea and will not be doing that. So that's the stated aim, but as I say, if I do get off track at some point and just start doing something else, then that's really all there is to it. And I will never apologise for being myself. First yucky moment of the day right there. I usually wait a couple of days in between doing these, but after doing it last night, for whatever reason, I just had a real urge to hop back on here and just get going. I had it in my head that I was going to spend a bit of time turning some of these live streams into YouTube videos of some sort, and I realised very quickly that I don't want to do that for every single live stream. It just seems like too much effort. so if you come here for a high effort, well polished live stream, then you've come to the wrong place. If you've even sort of come here at all, obviously. So I think the plan instead is that I will achieve a goal within this world and then go back through and find any of the sort of best bits during that part of the process, and put them together into some sort of more condensed, more easily viewable, sort of digestible live stream. Really is the idea, I think. Cool. We're just going to get going now. And if I remember correctly with where I was at yesterday, I'm in the process currently of constructing the townhouse for this settlement and for the people who live in it. I'm really paranoid about my microphone. I've had 2 days of doing this, and in one of them I was just a little bit too close for comfort, and then the other I was a little too far away, although I think I've already said that, so that's why if you hear me fiddling around, I'm going to stop that now because that is luck. The luck continues. It's probably a bit exhausting to hear that, but that's where that was coming from, basically. Yeah, as I was saying, I was keen to get back on this world and continue the construction of this village. I can finally see the vision in my head, and that is a hurdle that I've not overcome in this game for a very long time. And I know it doesn't look like much, it's only a couple of houses right now, but I see this townhouse, and I see a grand castle that sits on top of this hill, and that's really cool. It gives me a lot of motivation to come on here and keep building and keep playing, because I feel like I have something to work towards. I've also found that doing these has just been a bit of a interesting outlet that I wasn't really expecting, for me to just be able to speak my mind on stuff. I haven't really, strangely... Am I going to have to go mining again right at the start of this? I feel like I'm constantly in the mines. But I need stone is the issue. I need more actual smooth stone. So I might have to go mining for some of that. That sucks. Well, welcome back to the mining show. I won't be gone long. I'll just go and grab whatever coal I can find. Yeah, as I was saying, I feel like these streams have very quickly turned into what is weirdly just like an outlet for me to just talk about whatever's on my mind, really. I feel like I haven't had that in a while, and I realize it's very important for people to have just that kind of, that ability to just have a thing that they do where they really can just express themselves and not just to hold that shit in all the time. It's not good for you. It's my thing I've been doing at the moment. I've been playing around with the sort of details of my life, trying to find new and interesting ways to do things. Just keep it fresh, you know, switch it up a little bit. I don't want to just get caught in my ways and just be stuck doing the same thing over and over again, especially if it doesn't make me happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of parts of my life that make me happy, and all of those kind of aspects I will just be holding on to, but if I feel like something has to be added, it would be silly of me to not at least try, right? I feel like people are afraid to do that in general. Just to try new things and to put yourself out there, and people are far too afraid of failing and looking silly. Because obviously I'm back on YouTube now. I spent a couple of maybe like a solid 20 minutes last night just kind of going back and watching some of my old YouTube videos, and they are horrendous. I was going back and watching ones from like 2 years ago where I didn't understand anything about putting together a piece of content on YouTube, and trying to make these combo videos, and the aspect ratio on them's horrendous. The frame rate sucks. The resolution's terrible because I didn't understand anything about. Well, it was partly I didn't trust the quality of my PC, but like its processing power, which is why I'm streaming on console now, because I don't really rate the the performing ability of my PC, but also just I didn't understand enough about how content production works, really, and I still don't, evidently, based on my performance in the microphone department. I don't know, I think if this ever goes well enough and I feel like I'm getting enough value out of it, I probably will invest in a decent quality microphone, but for the time being you are stuck with this one, and for the time being this is very much doing the business for me, this microphone. I'm a big advocate of that in general as well, is not to just pointlessly replace or change things. I know that might... Let me put it this way. When it comes to my lifestyle, I'm willing to try new things out, but at the same time I'm not the sort of person where if something's doing the job that I need it to do, I'm not just going to go and try something else for no reason. I need to understand why the thing that I have at the moment isn't working, and what the benefit would be of kind of changing to that new way of doing things. Hopefully both of those ideas can make sense together, although I'm not entirely sure. Two zombie villagers. Oh Christ. Oh god, that's really, really bad. I should have seen that coming. Oh fuck. Let me just quickly create an axe here. I don't know if axes are still better than swords. I remember the wisdom used to be that swords allowed you to deal with multiple enemies at a time, but axes did more damage. And I've always leaned more towards using the axes for combat. I don't know why, but I do feel like swords are a bit of a waste. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know why I'm grabbing this gold. I think eventually I do want to build up like maybe as part of the townhouse even, like a town treasury. I mean, if this is like medieval style, there would be either a king or a lord of the area, and I want to build up the treasury for that big house and show off his reserves of maybe iron and gold that he has, maybe even some diamonds. Maybe he's very rich. If he's a king, he might have some diamonds. There's some coal. That's what I needed. I realised I was sort of wasting time just collecting gold when I don't really need it at the moment. Although I feel like at this stage any mining is not really wasted time. I do still need a lot of materials So any mining that I can do is good. I do need a bit more cobblestone as well, so I might just dig into a wall somewhere around here with the idea of potentially finding more coal and definitely digging up some cobblestone in the meantime. Fun fact of the day, you need cobblestone to create stone. Genuinely mind-blowing. It's been a relatively successful day over here. It was the first day back after the long weekend, which always sucks. I mean, especially if you have to go back to work after a regular weekend, that sucks. But at least that's sort of standard, right? You do that every week. But when you get maybe even just an extra day off, or you take a holiday, I feel like returning back to work after that sucks even more. It's just like brutal. You're completely knocked out of your rhythm, and it always takes, especially if it's like an extended period, like you're away for like a week or something, and then you have to go back. It's just absolutely brutal. It's okay though. It's going to be a shorter week this week anyway, because I only have to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and within that, the way my work is, I usually spend 2 days in the office a week, or no, usually 3 days in the office a week, and then 2 days at home. But obviously, since it's only a 4-day week this week, I could do 2 days in the office and 2 days at home if it's too brutal. And I can't go into the office for 3. Maybe I'll just do 2 at home, I'm not sure yet. Not that anyone gives a fuck anyway, it's just a stupid fucking job anyway, isn't it? Nah, I quite like my job. Just it's not the end of the world what work pattern I follow, really. One way or the other, the week's gonna go the way the week goes. I really do feel like in general that people almost unnecessarily hate on just like standard jobs, like a 9 to 5 type of thing. And I get it. It sucks. I mean, it's a lot of your week that you have to spend in these offices, and it can be a bit boring at times. But I've never, in the time that I've done it so far, really super hated it. I mean, I've done plenty of jobs since I probably started working at like maybe 15, 16 years old. And in that time I have had some absolute stinking jobs. Working in fucking takeaways and kitchens. To me, they are the shittest jobs. Like those fucking part-time gigs that you have while you're at uni, or you're at college, or whatever it is you do, and you spend all day in class, and then you gotta go and spend your fucking evening like cleaning up shit. I mean, like one of my jobs, I was like a KP for a fucking restaurant. But at least it started as that, and then eventually I became like a proper chef over time. But I remember those fucking 5-hour, like 5 p.m. to 10-11 p.m. KP shifts, spending 5 hours hunched over a fucking washing machine and rinsing thing. Like, we're basically dealing with a never-ending stack of plates, filtering them through this fucking washing machine and then leaving them to drip dry, and then running around these chefs throwing these plates back into the correct place. It's fucking stinking. And I mean, compared to that, the job I have now is amazing. I just get to basically sit on my arse all day, fiddling around in Microsoft Excel. Like, it's not hectic, it's not stressful. It can be a little bit, but I've always said at the very least now I get a job where I can like sit down and we have like free coffee and shit. Never would have had that before. You had to basically go into a full-scale war with the managers at this fucking old job to be allowed the privilege of having a coffee made by the fucking whatever they're called, the front of house. Gets my blood boiling just thinking about it. So I don't really hate my office job, but it does suck when you go away for a bit. You get to kind of just do what you want to do, and then you go back to it. It's always a bit rough. The otherwise it's pretty decent though. I am lost, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm just running around like a madman. I think I might be lost. I can't remember exactly the way back. Although it could be this way. That might be it. Found it. That might be in the other direction. I'll see. Yeah, I'm in the other direction. I might grab some of this as well. I feel like this would be good for like what is these? Are these like amethyst blocks? Yeah. I feel like any self-respecting medieval lord would have a couple of amethyst blocks kicking around. I actually don't know if they discovered amethyst at that point, but it looks pretty and it's like fancy, so I'm gonna grab it. I think I'm up here. Yeah, day was pretty decent. Had a cool working from home day, and then afterwards I went to the gym. Didn't do any running today. I wasn't really feeling up to it. My legs were a bit sore, so I just did some incline treadmill walking. Almost an hour of that. Got a good calorie burn in. Been fucking around with my diet again as well. I'm sure I talked about this on the last stream, like the silly ways I'm fucking around with my diet. But the new thing is playing around with like vitamins. I started introducing like good healthy herbal teas and yogurt and stuff like that, just to try and get like probiotics and properly restore my gut health. I think is the new vibe, is the new mission. I'm just going to keep fiddling around with that until I'm happy, I think, is the game plan. I feel like incline treadmill is so ridiculously underrated as well as a way to exercise. Genuinely, I was just like mindlessly on this treadmill for like an hour listening to this podcast. It's ridiculous. I feel like no one, like I feel like people don't really think about it as a good way to exercise, but if I compare that and running, I know which one I'd rather do. I gotta start thinking about what I want to do with the interiors of this as well. Thinking maybe some sort of carpet, but I don't know if in this era they would have had carpet or like stone floor. Might have to think about that a little bit. I'm liking the variety though. I'm enjoying the combination of like these wooden houses with what will be stone walls going around the whole thing. And one other thing I want to start construction on, if I get time today as well, is the road for this kind of settlement. just like a 2x2 little road that goes around and connects some of the houses and connects some of the significant buildings that we're going to put in this area. I think that could be a plan. I'm just waiting for some of that stone to cook. Cook? Smelt? Don't know, don't care. And then we can get going on construction. I should probably smelt up some glass as well. Do I have any glass? I have a little bit of glass. How do you make stained glass? Because I think stained glass is going to be the one for this. I'm thinking. Is it literally just like dye and glass? If it is, that'd be nice and easy. Yeah, it is. Thinking red. I'll start with just red, and if I find any reason to want to do another colour, I'll do that as well. So I'm thinking like this. We'll play around with this a little bit. I'm thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then either the kind of cross part of it. Well, we know we're going to do this, so we might as well just throw some of that in. And then where would it be good? Probably about... Oh no, actually that's perfect. I can just do a 2x2 going into the side as well. Beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted. Now let's not mention that I'm running diabolically low on coal here, okay? I did say on the first stream, or not stream, just like video I did for this, that I don't understand why anyone would ever make charcoal. I'm now going against that and making some charcoal because I'm bored of mining and I just want to build some cool shit, and I really don't want to go back into the mine and keep struggling for a few morsels of coal. I don't really want that. Let's grab a couple of bits of charcoal. Yeah, I never claimed to be consistent. I never claimed to be anything, actually. So, in your face, I guess. I found this new thing that I feel like I really have to recommend. It's a specific kind of herbal tea, Twinings brand for anyone in the UK, and literally the name of it is called Glow. It's strawberry, cucumber, some sort of like healthy root, I'm not entirely sure what it is, and then like aloe vera as well, all in like one tea, and it is advertised as having a very calming, positive effect. It's also just really, really tasty as well. Glow tea, I recommend. kind of messing around with the world of herbal teas. Some more charcoal. Can't believe I've already stooped to the level of creating charcoal. Such a casual. Got some more stone as well. And hopefully there should be enough glass here to make some more stained glass. Yep. So I can finish the cross. I might eventually throw a couple of colors in just to get a bit more of a range, maybe like a red and gold or yellow. That looks a little bit chunky, so I might take away one of these layers. Yeah, that makes sense. Looks a wee bit chunky, so I'll put the stone back in, and that'll be a bit better, I think, at least for now. I feel like I've said that so many times. This is gonna work for now, and then later I'm gonna have some sort of come to Jesus moment and just realise that whatever I built looks terrible, and that I need to basically tear the whole thing down and just start again. Again though, this is not to be... Maybe this could double as a church for this town. I also don't know how I feel about doors straight into glass. I feel like I almost need to build this up one. Yeah, I might need to do that actually. Which means all this is going to get shifted up by one, and then I gotta mess with the stone design as well, which is ideal. But what is Minecraft if not a game where you just constantly rearrange ideas and constructions you've already done? So here, here. Don't worry, I will fix the cobblestone as well. So like that. And then obviously we'll need to build up one more here as well. This is good, this feels productive. I feel like I'm off to a flying start here. I never usually set off at this kind of pace. Welcome back to Minecraft Construct a Church %. Yeah, it's kind of messed up the cobblestone, but that's okay. I'll fix that. Okay, and like here. And then like here. And then take care of that. Bit of stone. And then I need to do like one more here. I think I might actually already be like one more here, and then one here, here, and then the one below it needs to get turned into stone. And I'm thinking like that. Why does this continue to look odd? I fix the layer. No. Should I fix it now? I don't know. This does look a bit weird. I think it's because like the brick, it's like right at the end. So maybe the answer is just put the brick up one more. We'll see how that looks. So this needs to go up one, up one, up one, and then up one more, and then obviously fill everything in that's not the outside with stone. So here, here. Really hoping that this is the fix and that this looks nice. Or as nice as it can for what it is. Okay, so like that, and then these two also need to get replaced with stone. Have they changed the code in this game, by the way? I feel like those wandering trader guys are very, very common now. I've seen tons of them since I started this world, and I swear, like, I never really used to see them as much before. Ah. Dicks. It's still uneven. I need to add another... Ah, God, okay, okay. I need to add like one more to make it right in the middle. Slow and steady wins the race. Unless the race is to construct a building in Minecraft quickly, and then slow and steady would probably lose the race. But you gotta give love to slow and steady every now and then. But now that just looks silly because of how many... I can extend that further out actually. That's probably what I'll do, is I'll make it wider as well. Because it does look a little silly with how many, like, at the side there are. So what I'll do is I'll probably actually make the building a bit wider. But I think height-wise that'll probably be okay. Go. I could build like a steeple roof as well. The more I'm starting to build this, the more I think this should just be a church. Rather than like a... I don't know. It probably should be. And I still can't get over the idea that this cross looks a little bit strange. It's not horrendous though, and we can consider that as a small win. I want to do a steeple roof as well. I think I want to do like wooden stairs that go up this whole thing. I think that would look cool. So I'm actually not going to make it any wider, because with the steeple roof I feel like you want to give it that kind of very narrow, quite dramatic, sharp increase. And I think, should I use a different color of wooden stair? Nah, it wouldn't make any sense. I don't think, unless it looks bad, and then I'll... I should actually, just to show that this is like a distinct building. I think that makes sense. I'll do that. Is that really all the stone I have? Shit. Okay, I keep making some more. This is kind of the issue with trying to build too much in the early games. You just run out of materials unbelievably quickly. Okay, we're gonna test my Minecraft skill now. This is... Oh, that was good. Genuinely quite pleased with that. Which I know probably is not the most impressive, most technical thing you've ever seen in a game of Minecraft, but for me, that is quite good. That is quite an effort. I don't do that normally. Little did he know he had that in his locker. He's just a genius of the game, really. Cut to, like, at this time, cut to one of those compilations of, like, players talking about, like, Messi in his prime. Just, like, bang on about the fact that he's, like, a genius and that we've never seen the like of him, and just show clips of me flying through the air throwing this water bucket underneath me. I'm the natural. Are you seeing this? This is skill on a scale that has never been displayed before. Throw this in the top 10 plays compilation, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to be in it. Consistency is key, and I am Mr. Consistent. I wonder if there is... So, I played a lot of Dark Souls growing up, and there used to be this channel called Sunlight Blade, probably still around, probably still active for, like, I imagine maybe like Elden Ring content now. I don't know, not watched them in years, but they used to make Dark Souls top 10 videos, so you would get like top 10 PvP plays in Dark Souls. I've just reminded myself of those videos in talking like I just did. I feel like the top 10 video on YouTube, like the idea of the top 10 video on YouTube is really a dying breed. I swear, like, it used to be the case that every, third or fourth video on the platform was some sort of top 10 video, and now just no one cares. You guys remember fucking Matthew Santoro? that guy has probably suffered more from the death of the top 10 video than anyone else. I feel like he used to be everywhere. Your recommended page couldn't escape a Matthew Santoro upload, and now crickets, because no one gives a shit about top 10 scariest paranormal encounters caught on film anymore. We're too evolved for that now. Sorry, Matthew. I'm sure you're a very nice man, but your style of content is dead. No one cares anymore. Top 10 spookiest. What happened to ghost content as well? While we're at it, I'm such a huge fan of ghost content. I'm like the biggest fan of Ghost Adventures specifically, or at least I used to be until I heard that what's he called? Zach Bacons is a bit on the fucked up side, which I guess really does make sense when you think about it, because that man has made a living out of selling bollocks ghost hunting technology and walking around and saying I feel a presence within this space. I feel like if you're gonna have the balls to make a career out of doing that, I would actually hope that you are completely psychologically insane. Because if you're well and you're doing that, then that raises even more questions. But I do love his madness, and I have binged just an unbelievable amount of Ghost Adventures in my day. I'm sold on the idea that ghosts do exist. Just because of Zach Bagans and his EMF detector. What even were the fucking pieces of technology they used in those shows? I feel like they were so blatantly, like, rudely bollocks, you know? It's like, I feel a presence in the room. I've detected it. We've pulled out the Spirit Box 5, developed by someone's mad uncle, and this detects changes in electromagnetic rays in a given space. I think the gimmick is basically if you can just add enough words that sound vaguely like science, then you can get away with selling toys as ghost hunting tools. I mean, take the Ouija board, prime example. The Ouija board was quite literally developed to be a toy. When they invented it, they didn't have any sort of creepy connotation attached to it. I'm pretty sure it was a Victorian invention, actually. And I think it was sold as a way to speak to your dead relatives in like a silly sort of sense, as a toy. And then over time, just because it's old and it looks a little bit spooky, and all these movies got made where the Ouija board actually was able to get through to the other realm and something bad came out, then over time the kind of meaning of this tool changed, and no longer was it a toy, it was now some object of evil, right? Crazy that. It's got to be a rough business to be in, that the Ouija board business. Who do you even sell things to if you're in the Ouija board business? Who are your customers? Who's buying? Especially now, who's walking into a shop like, hey man, I know what I really want today. Give me a Ouija board, please. I wonder if there are still people who actually... There has to be. It's a big enough industry, I would imagine, where there will still be plenty of sellers of Ouija boards. But I did think that was a bit of a fun fact, that the original purpose of it was not as any sort of evil presence detector. It was actually just like a toy for kids to use. And I think it was the Victorian era it was invented, because they, for a while there, did get quite big on death. They were pretty obsessed with death in the Victorian era, and I think probably had a lot to do with, like, what did they have at that time? Was it the plague? No, I don't think it was the plague, but it was some sort of like influenza that they had. Maybe it was the Black Plague, I think it was. I don't know, I'm not that clued up on history, but I know that they had a lot of cataclysms, like really, really bad events back to back at that time. And I imagine culturally, if your society went through that many super poor events, you would probably begin to have a bit of a fascination with death. But I tell you who the real freaks when it comes to death are the fucking Egyptians. They have some very, very strange rituals around death. I was listening to a podcast that I can't actually remember the name of it now. I think it's called Literature and History, and it talks about different famous writings. So like they'll give like a literature review and analysis on like the Iliad, for example, or like the Odyssey, talking about firstly just the content of the story, what happens, and then a little bit about what the story is about and what it would have meant to the people who existed at that time. And one of the episodes they'd done was on the Book of Death, which is a pretty ancient, one of the more significant pieces of writing that's been uncovered from ancient Egyptian times, and just some very, very funny aspects of of that book. And I'm pretty sure specifically like the ways that you can find yourself in or not entering Egyptian heaven. I think that's what it is. It's like, for example, in the book, if you fall off a roof, I think it very specifically says if you fall off a roof, then you're going to end up in like purgatory and you're not going to go to heaven, or the Egyptian equivalent of heaven. You're not going to meet Ra, which I think is very funny. I don't know why, for example, if you were to fall off a roof, that would exclude you from going to Egyptian heaven. But it's in there. It's in that book. Hello there, the unknown. Welcome. Hope you're having a nice day. I'm just rambling about strange ways that you can be sent to purgatory, at least according to the ancient Egyptians. And I'm constructing what is to be, I think, at this point, the church for this little medieval village that I'm trying to build. That's what's going on at the moment. So, thanks for stopping in. Hope you're having a nice evening, or morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are. It's evening here in the UK. Oh, that's a real bollock, that. Is this long enough? I think for the actual church portion I'll do like 1 or 2 more rows. And then because there's mines here, I want to... No, actually I'll keep this separate as a church, and then I'll start building out the mining outpost within the mine itself, I think. So maybe I'll add 1 or 2 more rows here and then start construction on the roof. Yeah, in general, ancient peoples had some very, very funny ideas about, like, death. It's so funny, like, because this podcast, Literature and History, is amazing, because it does give these super deep, in-depth reviews of these different pieces of historical literature, and you get to... Because I'm not a huge reader, so I never would really spend the time to, by myself, go and read classical literature, but I will watch someone review it. And in doing that, I've come to realise that ancient peoples are both like super geniuses in some aspects, but also just complete morons in other. I mean, some of the takes that they have on like living your life and like meaning in the universe and stuff like that is like highly, highly advanced. But then you could be like a Victorian era doctor and think that the solution to a concussion is just like beating the patient's brain in with a hammer. It's just interesting how in some ways they can be so clever and so brilliant, and then in others they're just complete morons. But it's not even that they're morons. It's more just that they probably had more wisdom than we do now, but they had less knowledge, maybe is the way I would put it. A lot of their practices weren't as highly developed, and they didn't know as much as we do about the world. Nope. I keep coming back to this same cave because I'm digging incredibly close to myself. I'm just going to grab a little bit more stone. And I'm beginning to run very, very low on coal as well, so if I can find any coal here, that would be ideal. Got a little bit low. Nope. Maybe I'm still a little too low. Okay. I don't know how strip mining works anymore. I swear it used to be so simple. You just went to level 12 and then you'd find diamonds. It does feel in some ways like a completely different game than the one I played when I was first picking up the game as a child. That's one of the beautiful things about only playing this game every now and then, taking breaks and then coming back to it, is every time I come back I'll find that just like 4 or 5 things have changed and the world just begins to look completely unrecognizable from what I remember. My pet peeve of the day for today is LinkedIn. I obviously set up LinkedIn when I got this job. LinkedIn's horrendous. The people on LinkedIn might be some of the worst people that I've ever come across. There's something about people that are too invested in their career that really bothers me. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can work hard and you can try your best to like get a better job and get one that pays more, but what you don't have to do is sit there on LinkedIn and talk about your career development like you're in like a fucking MBA interview or something, right? Giving like post-game analysis on your recent promotion at the fucking bank that you work at. Really put in the long hours, very excited for this new opportunity. Like, you're not, no one really cares. Everyone on LinkedIn only has you added for the small possibility that you would give them a job that they want. There's no other reason for it. Yeah, pet peeve of the day is LinkedIn. Can't be arsed. I might just delete it, but it's one of those ones where it might come in handy at some point. Am I lost again? I am awful at navigating these caves. This is a real struggle. Oh no, okay, we should be up here. It's okay. Don't panic. But maybe still panic a little bit. No, it's okay. Is it? Because I've dug so many of these caves now as well, or so many of these tunnels, I feel like I'm getting lost very, very easily. Here we go. I probably should actually go and mine in a different location to get my cobblestone. But it's okay. Finding our way home. Yeah, I can't be sacked in general with like networking. mean, don't get me wrong, I get it in principle, but it can give off a real desperate vibe, and I'm not really about that. I'm not going to be stupid about it. Like, if there is a very easy opportunity for me to make a connection or talk to someone who might help me in the future, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna, again, go out of my way for this shit. It's not really what I'm about. I just can't be bothered with it. I didn't find a single bit of coal when I was down there. That sucks. I'm going to have to make some more charcoal. Oh, that is less than efficient. I was hating on charcoal when I started this world off, and now it's just become absolutely required for me, it would seem. I'll just put enough in there to sort of cook all that wood into charcoal, and I'm going to go chop some trees, I think. I did not realise how much this game has turned into just like resource gathering, especially early on. I mean, it's always been a bit of a grind, don't get me wrong, but with all this new stuff they've added, it feels like it's more of a grind than ever. Not that I mind that. I must admit, it is quite nice to have something to do where I can just kind of mindlessly grind. And then every now and then I can check in and actually start thinking about like how I'm going to construct this village and how I'm going to make it look nice. Oh no, I've accidentally started cutting down a big tree. I feel like that's like a cardinal sin. Cutting down a big tree in Minecraft. I've got to go hunting for logs now, because I hate... This is a real pet peeve, is like people who don't finish cutting the tree down. Every time I watch one of these Minecraft speedruns and the person in it chops... If they have to, obviously, not every speedrun has to do that, but if they have to chop a tree down and they cut down just a little bit of it, that really, really bothers me. Christ. Hello. Christ. Let me go back home. I'm so not ready to fight any of these monsters. Especially you guys. You guys can piss right off. I'm just trying to build a nice village and live in peace. I don't understand why these guys keep bothering me. That felt a little... Oi! Get out of my pool! Get out of my fountain! Get over there. That's so rude, that. That's gonna be... This fountain is gonna be stinking for like weeks now. Anyone who comes to have a look at this nice pretty fountain's just gonna smell like a faint scent of death inside of it. Love that. That is exceptionally rude. I'm very quickly running out of storage room as well, so after I build this, the next mission might be building up like a town storage center, maybe. I do need to remember that this house is eventually coming down, so that could be the idea actually. I could tear down the walls and then just turn this into like a town storage area. Take like the roof off and turn it into like that kind of building that matches the vibe of the rest of them. That could be the idea. Can't wait for the days on this world where I don't have to struggle for any resources. I just have everything that I need all the time. But for now, that is not where we're at. And I did say to myself as well that I don't really want to rush on this world. I want to take my time and just play it in a relatively relaxed manner. So I'm gonna have to take away some of this dirt. Take care of that. And this will probably be the last. It's probably like long enough. Yeah. And it'll genuinely just be a wee couple of pulpits, a little stand for the priest to stand on. I might have to change that cross at some point. I'm not sure I like it. I'll have to see how it looks with the steeple once that gets built. And speaking of, I should probably start putting together the stairs for that. I want the stairs to be a different colour of wood from the stairs on the roof of the houses, just to let people know this is like a different kind of building in this village. Okay. And we'll just start getting together the kind of back wall of this church. Yeah, is that going to be enough? Like, imagine you walk in. I might do one more. There we go. I'm actually genuinely quite impressed with myself. I've never been able to do that stupid thing with the water bucket. This is a first for me. Okay. This is good. I feel like I'm very slowly but surely becoming more competent with the controls in this game as well. I mean, those first couple of sessions were pretty rough, but I think I'm getting there now. Aesthetic Minecraft gameplay. That's what we're all about here. I've watched back some of these live streams just to make sure that they sound alright in that, and it's so funny because, especially with the microphone, I do feel like this is very much giving the vibe of anything you would see on Minecraft YouTube from the year 2011 to 2013. It's funny to think that the people I was watching back then were probably just using the setup very similar to the one I'm using now. Very weird. As promised, last night I did go away and start binge watching some old school Minecraft series. Started watching the original Captain Sparkle's Skyblock series, which is an absolute classic. And I've been doing that a lot over the past couple of days. Something about doing this is really sparked a bit of a passion back in Minecraft for me. So I've been watching that Skyblock series, and then watching a lot of Minecraft as well, but like old school Minecraft, I guess. I guess it's now old school, but for me it was just school at the time. Like 2013 era Minecraft. Almost there with this. And then I'll get working on the roof. I think it's very much going to be like a steeple design, just very basic stairs going up the side, meeting at the top, and hopefully that'll give it a bit of a spire look to it. And I can maybe have a look at what we're going to do on the inside. And see, with all the new music in this game now as well, I am more than ever appreciating when one of the old songs does come on. It's just a real proper hit of nostalgia. I mean, that is what this game is to me, ultimately, is proper nostalgia. I was thinking about this one server that I used to play on when I was really young, and this castle that I built on it. Just the memories, because I genuinely, like, I spent maybe between 2 summers building this castle on this Minecraft server, and it was kind of sad in a way, because over time this server had gone from being like the main server for my hometown up here in Scotland, and eventually people just, I guess, grew out of it, got too old, and people started dropping off this server. But I already started building stuff on it, and I figured I didn't really have another one to go to anyway, so I just kept building on this server, because it never got taken down. I guess the person who was hosting it just never realized and never took it down. So I kept building this castle on this server, and there is a happy ending. Eventually, people did come back to this Minecraft server, and I got to show off my, I guess, years of work on this castle, and got to show off to some of the people who had started playing, and it was very fun. And I was just thinking about that the other night. This building. I was thinking about my first base I ever built as well, and in Minecraft I built it. I had like a natural, like, snowy mountain, but before they put the actual snowy mountains into the game, it was just like a tundra biome with like a cliff. So it looked like a snowy ravine of some sort, like a snowy mountainside with a cave entrance. And I built my first ever base inside of that. And I can still remember it, like, vividly, like putting in this wood flooring and putting up these torches, and just like yeah, to me that's what Minecraft is it's just like a real nostalgia trip more than anything. Might just, I don't know, I don't really want to start on the roof until I'm done with the wall. I do have like apparently like a layer to go around of the wall here. I didn't realise. So once I get that out of the way, I guess I can start building this spire. Oop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. Alright. Nope. I was trying to eat that. I'm now contemplating whether it would be worth... I don't know how much of this village I want to keep building before I actually just go and get some better gear. Because I'm realizing that part of the reason this is taking so long is because the stuff I have is so bad. But... I don't know. As I say, I'm not rushing, so there's no real reason for me to go out of my way to just put the fun bit of this on hold while I just go and mindlessly grind stuff for hours. That's not really what I want to be doing. Should have enough stone cooked up now. Nice. I'm trying to think of any other my pet peeves for the day. This might become a bit of a segment. My pet peeves of the day. I think slow walkers could be up there for the day. Jesus, I hate slow walkers. How is that going to look? I'm from a relatively big city, or at least I live in a relatively big city now in Scotland, and we have a lot of very, very, very slow walkers who are incredibly frustrating to deal with. People who just like, I guess maybe they're, I don't know if they're tourists or I don't know what it is, but will just genuinely not move at all. If you're walking down like the pavement, and it's incredibly frustrating. Just trying to get anywhere takes like twice as long. Not really a massive fan of cities in general. I've always been more of a countryside guy. But here is where the money is, so that's why I'm here. I feel like I can't have not done a single one of these right first time around. How do you do it? What's the angle? It's like here. Okay. I don't even know if this is right as well. This kind of feels right, which is why I'm doing it. And then the question is, how am I gonna... Because I could put one here. Again, I've done that wrong. That's very annoying. I could put one here. Oh, Jesus, Alex. Here we go. No, that can't be right. For a start, I'm just going to see how that looks. Whether I like the way that looks. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to work with the way that we have the building set up right now, so I'm going to have to just put in another layer of stone in each of the corners. I think it's going to have to be flat for that to look anyway decent. And I'm not sure I'm going to have enough stone for that. No. Absolutely love that. More stone. Alright. More mining. Hopefully this time I'll find some coal as well. Because I don't want to have to keep making charcoal. It just feels wrong. Something feels very wrong about it. I guess I'll start going the opposite way now. What's that saying? Oh Christ, I can't even remember now. It's like... Do you know what? There is no saying. I found coal after saying I was going to find coal. That's the saying. Enough of these intricate sayings. That might be my next pet peeve of the day. Metaphors and sayings that are too complicated. As a great man once said, why say many word when few word... What is it? Do same thing? I don't know. Yeah. Enough of metaphors and enough of double meanings. Let's just say everything exactly how it is. That could be my real pet peeve of the day, is just language that is too intricate in its design. Give me basic 4-letter words, clear sentence structure, simple stuff. I feel like some people really do go out of their way to try and impress you with their range of vocabulary, right? I mean, I've heard some people throw out some insane words just for almost no reason. I mean, the situation doesn't call for it in the slightest, and they just throw out, you know, we'll just be having a casual conversation, and they'll throw out exuberant. Like anyone knows what exuberant means. I mean, I might know. Maybe I know what exuberant means. I'm not 100% confident in what it means, but I know that you've made me uncomfortable by using it in a sentence and expecting me to interpret that on the spot. You couldn't just use like nice or like fancy. They're both words that kind of mean, I think, the same thing, but are less complicated. You've hassled me by introducing this complicated language and changing the rules, really. People are just too clever for their own good. I'm sure I've read about this, that there is like if you do like speech classes, like if you're going to be like a public figure of some sort, I'm sure they give you classes on how to tailor your language to reach like the largest audience. And I think one of the things that they recommend in general is not using overly like complex language, which does seem a bit snooty when you hear it like that, but I guess the idea is if you want to reach the largest audience of people, you would put your messages together using words that are as universal as possible, that everyone can understand. And it makes sense. I'm sure that some of the greatest like world leaders in history, if you were to like analyze famous speeches that they've given, I'm sure you wouldn't find too many words in there that are overly complicated. I mean, obviously, being from the UK, I would think about like Winston Churchill, for example. I can't imagine he ever used the word exuberant. Maybe he did though. Maybe it was a different time where that was okay to use that in a speech, but I really don't think so. I couldn't see him using words that are just way too complicated for no reason. That's probably enough stone, although I probably want to break this pick, so I'll just take care of that. I actually do find that quite interesting, like the the way that language can work. And how people can present the exact same information, but depending on how they do it, it produces like an entirely different feeling inside of a person. I mean, historically, where I come from, Scotland, we have an accent that is relatively hard to understand. So it's almost more important for us than any other people or any other country to be able to explain things clearly. Just because the words we say are harder to understand. Especially depending on where you're from within Scotland. Some areas have a very, very strong dialect, whereas others have a bit less of an accent. It's funny too, I feel like my accent is super strong. At least when I talk to people who are also from Scotland, I feel like they definitely have stronger accents than me. But then I'll have a conversation with like an English person and they'll comment that I do sound very Scottish. So I guess it depends on your perspective as well. Yes, I need to build up these. That was what I was doing. Can I reach that? I can. Nice. Yeah, that'll still be okay. A little disappointing, but not really much you can do. Mr. Chainmail over here. How does that block the sun? I'm not believing that for a second. I think... Oh. Alright. 2 pieces of chainmail. Hello. I wonder how rare that is to get that in one interaction. Yeah, I reckon zombies' fear of the sun has to be entirely psychological. There's no way that chainmail would be enough to keep the sun off your head. I don't believe it. I think they're lying. I think they're just making it up for attention, really. You know what's got to be really silly though is being a vampire in the Twilight universe. Like if you go out in the sun, you're not gonna die. You're just gonna like twinkle. That does seem kind of silly to me. It's probably more embarrassing than anything, really, being caught out in public as a vampire in the Twilight universe and just twinkling. Having to like quickly to explain to people like, oh no, it's okay, I'm not a vampire. I'm just just got a bit of SPF on, it's alright. Don't worry about it. You go back home to your vampire wife or husband. That was so humiliating. I twinkled in public. Yeah, I think a lot of people would assume that being a vampire in the Twilight universe is so sexy. You're immortal. You're dangerous. You're a hunter. What they don't account for is when you take them out in public, your vampire significant other, and they embarrass you because they start twinkling. This is the bit of dating a vampire they don't tell you about. How am I going to make that nice? I don't know, and I'm probably going to have to figure out how this is going to work for the rest of this building. So if I was to put one here, yep, and then I was to put one, not like that, I swear I'm allergic to placing these correctly. There we go. Right. Now the issue is that wall goes all the way back. So would I have to remove one layer from this wall everywhere? Is that going to work? Let me try that and see how it looks. I think that might be the way that it goes. I am a little bit distracted just thinking about this bit in my head of dating a vampire in the Twilight universe. And after like the honeymoon phase ends, just the ways that they can annoy you. Just telling off Edward because he keeps teleporting in the house. Those movies are so strange to me. Like what was I will admit I have seen Twilight, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. There has been a time in my life where I've been shown Twilight. What was the purpose of Jacob? Why did he exist? What was the point in him even being there? I don't understand. So many things about that movie are just very, very odd. I'm not going to pretend I hate it though. I've seen worse films. It's at least, it falls into the category for me of like bad in a kind of fun way. And that's all I really ask for in a movie. If you can make a movie that, even if it is terrible, as long as it's kind of fun, I don't mind. But what I will not stand for, even if it's a good movie, if it's, you know, some people might consider it a classic, if it's boring, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. It's not happening. Now the only thing I'm worried about doing this way is how the back's going to look. I think it'll be fine, but because I've not done it yet, I will have to wait and see on that one. I've been told that I need to go and see the newest Dune movie. I've not seen that as of yet, but I've heard it's a bit of a cracker. I did see Dune 1, but I watched Dune 1 in what I would describe as a bit of a compromised state. It's a little bit on the inebriated side, and that really did both heighten and kind of ruin the experience. I mean, it was a very intense couple of hours watching Dune in that sort of state, but it took what was already a pretty bonkers film and made it just almost overwhelmingly bonkers. I mean, what even is the story of those films? It's like even worse than Star Wars for just having the most insane lore possible. Oh no, am I in trouble here? What am I gonna do about the back wall? I think I'm gonna have to build it up like the other side before I get myself in trouble here. How did I do this? I had like... So I had cobblestone go up in like an arch that had two at the top. Okay. Now I'd want to do that with No, I don't think that's gonna work. Let me just keep let me keep doing my thing here, and I'm just gonna pretend that I didn't just have that horrible realization. This is so annoying. I wish the game would just know which way I want to put these stairs and just do it like that every time. I'm really hoping this is gonna work. I'm not entirely confident that it will, but I think I could find a way to make this work still. That's a very strange looking tree. Go. Yeah, the only question is what I'm going to do about... Actually, this should be fine. I think it's going to be fine. I don't know what I'm doing over here. This is probably the mistake. I don't need to do that. Because what I'll do is I'll just build up the back wall to be the exact same as the front. And then there's no need to have like this kind of curve in the construction of this. I want to say it's alright. Yeah, I mean, if anyone could explain what the plot of Dune is to me, that would be greatly appreciated. Because as far as I remember, it was basically just Timothée Chalamet running around in the desert in like what is like a functional gimp suit, right? He's just running around, and he's like a king of prophecy, I think. I don't know. I did get really into like the extended lore of Dune for a little bit. I have these kind of fascinations, I guess, where I'll pick up like a particular film franchise or movie or TV show, and I'll just go like completely psychotically in depth on like the extended lore. I did that for like the Lord of the Rings universe. Like went and learned about outside of like the obvious one, like the Silmarillion, right? Learned about writings on the origin of the Lord of the Rings universe and how it came to be that there was like elves and men, and how Sauron used to present himself as this other, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he was like the embodiment of evil in a universe that was constructed to be purely good. Like go deep into the lore. I must admit, I do have a bit of a weakness for that as well. Like pieces of media where there might be a TV show or a movie, but that TV show or movie takes place within a larger universe that has a greater number of stories. Good examples, the biggest one would be like Star Wars, right? Like the Star Wars movies are a single story that takes place within a much larger universe. Dune, obviously. Other examples like Lord of the Rings. There's tons of them, and it's just like a preference of mine. I like to know that the story I'm watching and that the characters that I'm watching live in a world, and that there's other stuff going on there, just for whatever reason. Just a preference. I don't like to feel like the only purpose for this universe is just to display this one story. Game of Thrones is another good example. The story we watch is just like one story that happens inside this gigantic world that's had all these legends and all these other things happen. Hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of the idea and what I like. Almost there. Just gotta get this roof up. Oop. Now, that's the other thing. Hopefully this is even. I think it is. Oh, what the... Why are these so oddly specific now? Never in my day. It's going to become the niche that I've found myself in, I think, here on YouTube. It's going to be like bitterly nostalgic Minecraft. There's a couple of great channels that I watch that are dedicated to beta Minecraft and only play like test versions of the game. I'm not doing that. I'm playing on the most recent version, but what my gimmick's going to be is that I'm just going to complain about the most recent version and just try and convince myself that the older versions were just better when I don't necessarily know that they were. They had their appeal, for sure. This is going to be okay, I think. All I have to do now is just build up this little inside bit, just so that it looks like there is something there. Oop, parkour. Parkour. I don't know why I've been quoting The Office today. I've not watched The Office in years. I think a cobblestone trim to the roof on this side would look nice. Gonna have it mirror this, but only the top bit. So like this is a style, but the roof part of it would be the same on both sides. I think would look nice. So I'm gonna do that. Especially considering I have the stone for it, so why not? And this will probably be the last thing that I do today, is just actually construct this building, and then I'll probably call it quits for the day. I do have to be up relatively early tomorrow morning, so sucks, but it is part of the game of being an employed man. Here we go. Now, hopefully... Rubbish. So that's 2, and I'm pretty sure that is just 1. Yeah, so I need to add one more. Okay. Not the end of the world. Or maybe it is. Maybe this is the thing that finally gets me to quit this world. No, it's probably not. Here we go. Take care of that, take care of that. Beautiful. Cool. So hopefully that should now be... Let me just take care of this pillar as well so I can get a good look at this in full. Okay. That should hopefully be the outside of this church constructed. Although I'm now looking at it from the outside, I really don't like the way that looks. Does it need one more? One further down on the side? I wonder. And then like half slabs underneath? Maybe? Let me try this. Let me add another, because that does look a bit boggin. There's your Scottish word of the day, boggin. To be used when something is just like quite gross. we would say it's boggin. I bet that's a thing. I bet there's people who like advertise that they'll teach Scottish very specifically. I feel like that's a bit of a scam though, because a lot of what Scottish is purely just like dialect. Any of the words that we have could also be words in English as well, I feel like. It's just that we choose to adopt our own, culturally or whatever it is, we choose to adopt our own versions of some of those words. That's neither here nor there though. That's a bit better. It does still look a little bit square. I wonder if there's anything that can be done about that. Probably, I think at the same time, probably not today. It does still look a little bit on the square side. I don't know what the solution to that would be, but I think that might be an issue for another day. We have what is functionally a church building. It's up, it's constructed. It does look a little bit on the scuffed side. It's only at the front though. Like at the side looks fine. And then the back I assume looks okay as well. Yeah. It's just a matter of figuring out how to make it look a little bit less square. Which might be part of my mission for the next time that I'm here, is do the interior. I don't hate it. I quite like it. It's very much giving old school Minecraft though. Maybe I would need to build it up a little bit. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that is the church, functionally constructed. At least it's there. It's placed in the landscape. And that was kind of my mission for today, was to get that up. So I think that will do it for me today. That's kind of all I really wanted to do, so I think I'll probably be finishing up now. Once again, for anyone who stopped in during this, appreciate your time. Hope you had fun listening to me just talk about nothing and build my ugly buildings that I always build. I'll probably be back again at some point during the week. We'll be occupied at the weekend as per, but maybe either tomorrow or Thursday I'll try and do another stream here just to keep going on this world. And if you just can't wait for that, then I do have a couple of my VODs and a couple of videos up on the channel related to this world as well. Everything that's been done on this world, all the buildings, as ugly as some of them might be, and me getting to my gear now and stuff, it's all up on the channel. So that's where I would check that out if you want to. But do appreciate the time. It's me signing off for the evening. Thanks very much, and goodbye.